DC Vigilante here. Sorry I've not made many videos, but you can probably tell my throat is killing me, so I've had to leave off. And just recently I went down to the new Forbidden Planet store. I'll leave a link at the end of the video. I decided to put it on my other website. Not my other website, my other YouTube channel, Big Willie, because it's more of a personal thing. Anyway, so today sort of started off where I'm watching what you would call the fandom menace. So all these YouTubers that have got something like 10,000 subscribers or more can only join in the debate. So I listen for a little bit, and I'm going to go back into it at a later stage. And talking about, Star Wars, George Lucas wasn't originally, George Lucas, how Darth Sidious wasn't originally planned. Palpatine, and how George Lucas was brought in to try to save the film. To me, couldn't be saved. Anyway, so I'm gathering all this information, and because it's another love I did have, and I go to Forbidden Planet, and so I went to the old Forbidden Planet, and then I went to the new Forbidden Planet, and it's like I'm taking my camera there, and I'm rushing from one store to the other store, and just talking about comics in general, and how we should always buy them and keep the your city centres, your shopping areas alive and bustling instead of just buying everything online. Communicate, and that's what I love about the town is to see other people. And I'm one of these people where I'll go up and I will talk to anybody. So as I went up into Forbidden Planet and I started filming and finished that, put it to the side, and I heard these two guys, and they said, "You want to watch the latest Star Wars movie?" And he said something and whatnot. So then, of course, I went over to him. It's like a bone to a dog, and I asked him, I says, "Listen," and I explained the whole situation of what was going on with Star Wars and why it's dead to me, and I would want their perspective on it because they seem to be okay with everything, and I just wanted to know what it was that still attracted them to it. And my idea was they have just totally forgot about the older generation that grew up with Star Wars, and it's like they poo-pooed it. They poo-pooed the older generation, maybe the 1970s kids, and they've changed it so much. But these two guys didn't know anything about the changes. They didn't know anything about what happened with George Lucas. They felt like it was the prequels that destroyed Star Wars. I went, no. Prequels was, I enjoyed the prequels. It introduced the Jedi Academy, Jedi Council, and everything else, and it opened it all up. And they were quite quiet, they were taking everything in, and they didn't hit the originals. And it's these ones that did, and I went on to my explanation about these new films. So they stood there and got quiet, and half of the stuff They didn't know. They didn't know about Kathleen Kennedy lying and stuff. So once I'd done the Star Wars thing, I then went on to talk about my other passion. Released the Snyder Cut. Had they heard about it? No. And they go on, they don't really go on to Facebook. And I mentioned a couple of the people that were big film dub and stuff like that, Geeks and Gamers and everybody, and they had no knowledge of what was going on in New York, and no knowledge of what went on at San Diego, and they had no knowledge whatsoever about the many changes that went through. Of course, that got me onto BBS, and then I went on to about agendas, and I went on about the companies, manufacturing movies, and how we could have had had they seen BVS Ultimate Edition. Nope. And that confirms my belief. We, the people on social media, believe that we are speaking as the nation, as the world. Because whatever we're saying, the world will know. Like, they didn't even know that it was the #1 tweeted subject just recently. Released the Snyder Cut. They didn't know about that. So it just astounded me. Now I was starting to feel guilty about keeping these two guys here. I stood there and talked to them about everything that's happened in the last 2 years concerning, the media, the agendas, the buying over the companies, the treatment of Zach, treatment of George Lucas, treatment of I just threw everything at them, and I asked them, when you go home today, just type in release the Snyder Cut, type in Star Wars, whatever. So I applaud you again. I ask you all again, and go out in the world. Go to places like comic shops and stuff. Listen with ears to somebody that mentions it, and then go over to that stranger and inform them. Now, sadly enough, the Snyder Cut movement only happens in New York. Only happens in America, because some reason because it's Warner Brothers, because it's Zach and stuff. But there's other countries out there that have been putting just the same amount of effort into it, and rather than just Zach. And I've always said, if we bonded together, if we came together and we had some sort of movement like the Snyder Cut or something like that over in other countries, then and make it known. I mean, it did hit the news, yes, in America, but nowhere else. We need this globally. Now, there is a fraction of Star Wars fans out there, called the 501st, I believe, and their fan base, they go everywhere. They're around the whole world, and they dress up as stormtroopers. And so that's a global reach. But this isn't. They didn't know about how important the Joker was. They didn't know about the 7-story thing that Zack Snyder had planned. But that's up to us. Don't just rely on the social media getting the word out there. There is billions of people out in your city centres and your shops that know very little. Which brings me to my last wee thing. So I looked at, and I know I've made videos about this before. I looked at HBO. I googled it, HBO Max, and I asked, would it be um, coming over to the UK? And sadly, no, because we have something like the Sky Atlantic and all these other avenues which show Warner Brothers TV range or whatnot and TV shows. So there is no point for that to come over here. So if there was a Snyder Cut release through HBO Max, the UK and other countries wouldn't hear about this. So that is why I'm disheartened about the talk about it being released there, because for me it is definitely too small. And that is why these people who, like the people I met in Forbidden Planet, will probably never know about the Snyder Cut's release if it ever came out. Especially if they didn't really know about the Ultimate Edition. So what can we do to get the word out there? Again, leave your comments and ideas below. I'll do my bit, of course, which is small, which is run my page on Facebook, which probably another million people don't watch, don't look at. I do it on YouTube. These guys don't seem to follow people on YouTube. So as this is the crux of it. When the Snyder Cut comes out, we need it more attention to it, because Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Vero or whatnot, HBO Max, they're still too small. So yeah, so let us know what you think in the comments below. Check out this wee video link, and this has been my truth. This is what I've been thinking, and thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. As I said, I'm not a YouTuber. I just talk about my passion, and stuff like that. So thanks very much.